Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson. I will be your guide for today. So today we're going to discuss changes happening 2024, 2025 and channel message through and see what happens. So first up, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping. My school is called AMAKEL, if you want to go join that. It is an awesome school with lots and lots of different telepathic games that are really fun because they take you on journeys as well. Some of them do. And lessons coming in. I'm doing an animal shamanic lesson at the moment that I should be putting up this week too. Also, if you want to fund me in a GoFund, one of my dear followers, has started up a GoFund for me to go to New York to channel live on stage, which could be the start of something bigger, like going around the world, and that's exactly what it aligns with my mission. So I'm really happy about that. And other than that, yeah, all the links are down below. I'm an intuitive counselor, so if you want to book me one-on-one, that's great. Okay, let's get into these channel messages. So 2024 has been a year of preparation, and everyone's going, a preparation for what, right? So it's a preparation for unity between, or an expansion actually, between us and others that are out there as well. So we're going to have a lot more ET communication, extraterrestrial communication, more people who are doing this work, this shadow work, like really looking within ourselves and doing the work inside, are going to start getting more contact within that range of telepathy and channeling. They might even get some really cool things happening to them, like I did, where, you know, if you're not really sure, if you don't really believe in that, or it's meant to awaken in you because it's part of your mission, then you might get something really fun happening. Like for me, I was actually in Kaipoi driving. I was actually in Acrturians, in New Zealand, driving along the beach when I got this voice in my head to think more positively because I was really negative in my thoughts. And then the same voice told me when we parked at a park in a beach, just this random beach, to open the door at dig, and when I dug, it ended up being this gold bracelet. So that actually inspired me and made me realize that I was supposed to do a lot more. Really interesting energy at the moment too. I feel like I'm in a rush. Just wanted to bring that up. I'm just going to slow myself down a bit here, because sometimes when I'm tapping into the audience, there might be new people watching this, and for some reason I feel like I need to spill everything out. So I'm just going to pull myself back and align myself a bit more before I carry on, so that I can get more clarity with the messages coming through. But they are telling me that there is a preparation that is happening from 2024, and it is really going to ramp up in 2025. And this is another reason why we've got in reflection, because there are those that don't believe. And so it's kind of filling that gap of that disbelief with those that are sending out drones and stuff like that, you know, the ones that are so-called in charge, that think they're in charge, but they're starting to fail, are trying to scramble to keep their image or their fair games going with the mainstream. And if you go back to my actual page, my YouTube page, I just did a talk on that, about the UFOs / drones that were being seen. So that is a normal response when it comes to something they already know, and they've been waiting for indications. And when they see or they find that something is coming to Earth that is getting more so, and more showing up, because it's been a lot around Earth anyway, around humanity. There's been a lot in the stratospheres and the hemisphere, I don't know, you know, out there in space watching us, observing us, but they have been under cloak, and now they're starting to show themselves a little bit more just to rattle that cage. And those that are in charge, trying to keep a hold on everybody, have been waiting for that to happen so that they can actually, you know, put their 10 cents worth in to muck everything up, muck the whole storyline up. They did exactly the same thing with the crop circles as well. So that is part of the ascension process, because then we start to, through learning how to do the inner work, we start to open up our intuition. We start to gain a respect for ourselves and to see the deceptions, to see who's the narcissists out there and who are not. And that's another reason why a lot of these relationships that we've got into, especially if you're empathic, got into narcissist relationships, just so that they could figure out, even in the relationships between us and those in charge and so forth, those that are forming rules and laws and all that, is it because their narcissist energy is trying to control, or is it because they actually are here for the benefit of humanity? Now, if we put out to our reality, I want this to be for the benefit of my reality from now on. You know, I want everything, like if there's somebody that has some sort of wisdom or something, then I'm going to align with that. Then you're already going to see them. They're going to stick out like, you know, dogs be bulls. I was going to say, they're just going to stand out, right? Yeah, so that's going to happen too as we go into 2025. We're going to really, like, it's just going to be so obvious to so many more of us. I'm not saying to everybody, because that's like putting everyone in the same kettle of fish. It's not going to work like that. But there are going to be a lot of us that's just going to go, well, that's so obvious that I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to give it any attention, because we start to realize that it's our attention that they want. And attention, where attention goes, you know, everything flows, kind of thing. So that's how we manifest our reality. And when we start to realize that our imagination has been held hostage by those, then it's time for us to take our imagination back and direct it towards what we actually want to ground in this world. What do we want to put our actions, our speaking, everything towards? We want to bring it towards something that we really love. So through 2025, I'm really seeing more of that happening, where there's, you could say it's a split, but it's also a drag, because they're showing me like there's a split, yes, but then there's a drag of those that are on the peripheral of wondering what the heck is happening, are starting to get dragged into those that are actually finding their feet on this, in this world, because they're starting to show up with more gifts, more, they're starting to align themselves with the desired outcome that they wanted. And with that, they shine, because they're now feeling safe in this world due to their own inner work that they've been doing. And those that are asleep or just on the peripheral of wondering what the heck is happening, start to go, well, I don't want this story that I'm following is feeling yucky, but the person over there that's telling me, you know, you have this inner compass and you can actually make a change, is that's starting to pull me into their reality of, I have more power than what I've been taught through schools and so forth, like that. So through 2025, we're going to see a lot more of this awakening happening as in the ascension process for those. And because of that, when people start awakening, it's like that 100 monkey syndrome, where, you know, even those on the other side of the world that weren't affected start to wake up automatically as well, because it's just in the energy field of humanity's consciousness. Because we have our own energy field as what we're actually creating, but then there's they're showing me like a vaster, like you up level it, and then you see overall energy field of humanity's consciousness. When that starts to change, and it is, and it has been, then, but even more so, then others start to see the truth that lies within them that they've been denying because of their fears. And so the fears start to subside, because they're starting to feel into that, or even see that those that we would call maybe the light workers, the forerunners, I don't know what you want to call them, the ones that go first, are actually creating the reality that they desired. And it's like we're speckled around the earth so that we can pull more people through. We're put into families that have been asleep for a while so that we can pull them through and make them realize, oh, I can actually use my imagination for the benefit of myself. It isn't useless. And that's what we've all been taught so far in society, right? Your imagination, just forget about it. It's a useless tool. Even though it's present and it's there and it's part of our existence, right? But it's useless. It's only just for drawing, it's just for making a little pretend thing over there. And it's not. It actually helps us create or align with what we want to bring in and ground into this reality as well. So that's cool. So a lot of changes within that. I do foresee bigger contact made and actual more sightings happening, more stories coming alight that are more grounded as well, not just the stories of, oh, someone's got a message and they're going to leave this planet and then they're going to take off and never come back. It's going to be more grounded stories, like I'm almost foreseeing some people are being chosen to actually have artifacts that they've been led to, or that they actually receive from these ships and so forth, these other beings that they know of. But there has to be no fear around this. So they'd already have had communication telepathically by these beings, and know their energy to a point where if they turned up in their room or turned up, in their backyard or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, my brothers and sisters, I know you because I've already been talking to you for so long now through the telephone. I know who you are. You've given me enough synchronicities to know that this was going to happen on this date and this time and all of that sort of stuff. Now, that could be an individual sort of a thing that happens, and you might even be taken, your life might be taken away from society for that to happen for a while. And then you can bring back the unusual wisdom, the information, but actually have tangible something about it as well. So that could be sparking off 2025, and even more so in 2000. This is like an up, like a first step and a hill that's moving up, or energy field that's moving up towards more expansion. Because they don't want to just do as the so-called movies go, oh, here we are, guys, and then half of us freak out and the other half get kind of dragged under by the freak out and all of that sort of stuff, and the government wants to rule it and all blah blah blah. It's just, those movies that are portrayed at the moment are literally been the money's been handed to them, like, to create those movies, because those that are in charge have the monopoly on the money, and so they've been financing those movies, which are keeping us in a limited program of what is actually out there. So there's not a lot of, back in the 1970s and that sort of thing, where we had a lot more movies that were friendly based, ET friendly based, and that sort of thing. That's more of a gross, kind of a twisted version of what's really going on, and it's their own story that they're trying to push through our imaginations to get us hooked into that's the only way it's going to go. Yeah, so that's not so good either. Hey, everybody in the chat bar, Sky, Linda, Javier, Celtic, nice to see you guys this morning. The other thing that they were bringing up is the AI thing. So we have to be aware that that is actually a reflection of humanity not being able to control their own thoughts. And when we start to realize that, we will make decisions based on the fact that we have control over ourselves. So we don't need an outside force to be able to dictate or tell us what to do. So we're already get a massive intuition and not to do anything, to detriment ourselves when it comes to AI. I'm not saying don't use it at all. I'm just saying not to not to use it to the point where it actually fails you in the respect of I've given away all my power because I don't know how to make the next move, and so AI will tell me, and that's the only way I'll go. I'll never ever listen to my own intuition anymore. We have to be aware of that as we move along. And so that's come up as well, especially last night. They started to wake me up at 3 a.m. and give me these messages about AI and learning and knowing that it is a mere reflection of us seeking something outside of ourselves to help us control ourselves, where we're not actually doing the inner work within. So the more of us that do the inner work, the more that we realize AI will have its place. I mean, it is its own identity creating in itself and its own version. It came about from humanity not knowing how to control their own inner thoughts and how to feel safe to be able to make decisions. We've been taught that we shouldn't be making decisions, that there has to be somebody outside of us that's more powerful to make our own decisions. But now we're starting to realize those decisions are based on their own greed. And so it comes back to us as sovereign beings becoming aware of the choices that we make, and that we are taking absolutely full reins and responsibility to the decisions that and choices that we make. And also to be able to control thy mind. So as we go along in this journey, what is it that we're allowing the fear to take over, and what is it that we're allowing ourselves to be in full control of? In other words, how do we come back to 0 point within ourselves, no matter what kind of story we've entangled ourselves into out there? So, oh my God, that's happening out there. Oh my God, it's going to infiltrate into my reality. And it's like, no, it's not. Why should it? I'm going to come back to 0 point within myself, still my mind. What do I really want in my reality? What do I want to see in my reality? What am I going to focus in to bring in and ground on my reality? That is learning to control your inner self, your inner dialogues and your inner energy, so that you can bring yourself to a point where it's not being played with by those outside of you. So in 2025, a lot more of us are going to be doing this work and showing others and teaching others how to do it. So there's a lot more light workers that are going to be on platforms. I mean, I've certainly been directed to go live and that sort of thing, but I feel that there's a lot more of us that are going to be speaking up, even if it is through the internet or whatever. And it's just a matter of deciding what energy you want to actually move in with, whose energy feels right for you. There's no wrong and right, by the way. It's just whatever feels right. And you'll start to find these soul tribes are starting to come together. Now, that brings me to another message for 2025, where we're going to have dual soul missions coming in. And this was a really nice message here. There are those that, well, I'm reading this off my phone, by the way. Sorry about how dark it is. It's so cloudy outside. It's just really, really dark at the moment. We're at 7:20 in the morning here in Brisbane, Australia, but it's really dark. Okay. There are those that will meet, that will have a life mission together, as if their energies combined give them new insights into their own mission and declare a path. They could also ignite gifts when they play the role, and when they each play the role of that gift, they complement each other to ground new wisdom and understandings and even experiences in this world. So yeah, let's talk about that. Dual soul missions are coming in for 2025. So we've done enough work on it by ourselves, and there are those that are walking this world knowing, really feeling into themselves and knowing that they're supposed to be with another. And they've probably tried this person, that person, and nothing's worked. And, even brought in the narcissist relationships to learn about themselves, brought in the ones that want to control things so that they learn how to set boundaries, all of that. I know I have. But there is always this pull that's, even though no matter what you've gone through, you're still driven to meet another. And there are those that have got missions that are supposed to be just soul missions, right, just on their own. But these ones are dual soul missions. And I do feel I'm one of those. I feel like I think a lot of the Pleiadians have no, because we come from a heart base. We really feel that need to find somebody else that is going to complement us as we go through our mission and help us feel grounded and safe in this world. So it has to be someone that's living, a physical person that's living in this world to be able to have that groundedness. We're not talking about somebody, I'm waiting for my space brother to land and then we will start our mission. It's not like that. This is an actual duel of two people gone through a heck of a lot. And you might even find when you come together, there's just this whole heap of, oh my God, my world, and am I ever going to be able to trust? But you're bouncing off each other is going to align to the point where you start to trust each other more so, because you speak the same language and you have the same energy field, and you'll remember it and it will feel comfortable and it will ignite things within you. You'll start to realize, oh my God, I'm more than who I am as a single person, sovereign person. With this person's actually like igniting that. And one might have a specific really big mission that they're playing out, and the other one might be holding the energy field for that mission. Or there could be the two of them that come together where the combination creates the mission, or it could be that they even ignite a whole new gift within each other. They're bringing me to one that has happened. I know of a dual soul mission that was put in place just a couple of years ago, and when they came together, they found that when they touched each other, but they had to be holding hands, then they could speak to those that are past, and those that are past started tapping. They would tap the walls or the floor or whatever, and they counted through the alphabet, like the A, B, C, until they actually got full sentences. And I do believe they will even go further, where they just need to touch each other and they bring in the information. They won't even need to go through the actual tapping. But the tapping was necessary for it to go live on, because I saw it on a YouTube. It was necessary for that to happen, so that was a progression. So they actually activated each other. They didn't know of their gifts before, and then when they actually came together, they activated that within each other. So this is how it really starts to expand within dual soul missions as well through 2025. So that's going to be quite exciting to watch, that when two people come together, all of a sudden, boom, it starts to. And it doesn't necessarily mean a romantic partner either. It can be a friendship that is very, very close. But a lot of us seeking that romantic partnership, so that we can have the cuddles and all that sort of stuff. We can feel good in our body, and actually physically have touch and that sort of thing as well. So but yeah, each to their own in their mission. We cannot box this in and say logically, oh my God, all dual missions are just romantic. I would never ever say that. There are all sorts of different relationships that we can have with others, and some of us might come together for a small while and then split and go do our mission, then come together, but we'll always end up coming together like this. So that could happen as well. So there's no set rules in that when it comes to how we move through our life spiritually, when we start to take that understanding back and who we are spiritually. There was a message that came through as well. When you really get yourself as a spiritual being, you will realize that we are all equal, and it was only the story of lack that we told ourselves that allowed others to infiltrate that energy. So this is kind of a message more for the mainstreamers as well. I probably should put that one up on Facebook. But we always go, oh yeah, but when we are bringing in spirituality, they then turn it into this religious contents. We lose ourselves and all that, and it's that kind of thing where you had like a, what is it called? I can't even think of the word at the moment, where there was a group together, and there was still a leader in it. There was still people that were following one person and going, they're our leader. It's not like that. It's more of a, I feel pulled towards you at the moment. I feel pulled towards this person at the moment, and allowing the flow to happen. It could be that you're pulled towards someone for the rest of your life and you're actually coming together as a soul group to create something. But it could also be that, there's no rules, that set rules of following somebody, and you following but because you're following yourself first. This is what this new spiritual reality is all about, understanding your soul's work. Your soul is the one that you follow. So it's more of your logical mind now going, okay, I trust my soul's path, because my soul's path is always coming from love. It's going to tell me the next direction, even though that direction or that path might look like something that has happened in the past and it's held in my logical brain, and I'm scared of it happening all over again because that one failed and it made me feel miserable. But now my soul's coming in and directing me to that again, and my logical mind has to let go enough for me to actually move into that path, because it's coming from an absolute trust of self. So you're trusting both sides of yourself. There's two personalities running within you that are learning to trust themselves as we go along. There's that as well. It's just going to end up propelling humanity into a whole nother awareness and state of consciousness where we're no longer, nobody is ruling anybody, but we have our own gifts to be brought forward that can actually help others. Just like mine is speaking and channeling messages, and another's might be actually, creating homes that are environmental to Earth and conducive to Mother Earth, and or it could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. The way that we're dressing and how we're actually moving, bringing in beauty in this world, or making people feel good about themselves no matter what they look like, or whatever it is. Your gift that you have is special, specifically unique for you to bring in. And why deny that? Why deny that? So in 2025, maybe a lot more people are going to start to take the reins of those gifts that they really feel is their unique self, and as they move along as well. I'm just going to see if I can tap into anything more. I've done all of that channeling without even holding on to a crystal. So we'll take my Moldavite and see what else comes through at this point. I just realized it's only been half an hour. I feel like I've hit so many topics already. It's really cool. Yeah. So there's going to be there's going to be a lot more support for those that have actually done the work in 2025, where we felt like fish out of water on this planet. We're going to start turning this planet or our reality into the unique story that we have held within us, and we're too afraid to speak it out or say it because it was persecuted in the past. So a lot more of that's going to come in. There's going to be a lot more fun happening in this planet. A lot more, wow, that person came out with that idea. That group of people have formed together and come out with that idea. Oh my God, that is so cool. How much more fun is this world with that in this reality? And the fear starts to subside. We start to realize, well, at any given moment, I can pull myself away if I feel like I'm being controlled by anything. I have the reins to my own reality now. And they're also showing me a breaking up of laws and rules and stuff. It's going to be breaking up more. It's going to be chipping away at it first, and then they will start to fall away, because our focus, the majority of humanity, well, coming into, I'm not saying absolute majority, but more of us are going to be focused in on this fun that we want to produce in this world, and have more fun with animals as well, and nature as well. But it's the inventions that we create are actually more game-like and more energy fun-based. It's a higher frequency. We're dancing through this more than being told and dictated to and put in a box and Yeah, and all through fear and worry. And even there are, just to let you know, there are specific beautiful souls that are working with the governments and so forth that are there to help shift the energy, even if they don't do anything, but their energy is vibrating at a higher frequency, which will shift others or activate others. So please do not judge. That's not how this next reality is being created, through judgment. There are those that are even in Parliament that are going to awaken at a specific time when they come into contact with these activators. So there's all of that that's happening as well. Like, I'm starting to feel that in my, like, goosebumps in my skin as I'm talking about it. There are definitely those put in positions that are supposed to have seemingly lost themselves, but they were meant to go in that direction specifically for their mission to activate and open others up to the wisdom of their soul, and their soul is carrying information on how to navigate those that are very narcissist. So they're all in the right position. Everyone's in the right position. Please don't try, as soon as we start to control somebody, oh, you should get out of that job. Why are you in that job? That's you're working for the government. Oh, you're mining, or you're blah blah. Yeah, well, maybe they're there for a bigger purpose, and we don't see that higher reasoning why they're actually there. So drop the judgment, because the judgment is you bringing yourself into a lot of vibration, and allow people to be themselves. Let the story play out. We're all source energy going on a journey, and source energy is uplifting humanity into a higher frequency of being able to have more fun on this planet. That's what this is about. We want to have more fun, more light, more love, more dancing, more experiences, more expansion, more, bringing us into alignment with those that are from other planets and that sort of thing. More wisdom. Everything is just more in that respect of a positivity coming towards us. So none of that can be faulted. But if you are starting to judge others for the position that they're in, you are adding or fueling to that old program still. So be aware of that in 2025 as we go along as well. Now, everything that's happened in 2024 has been activating you towards that. So you might have even been put in a position where you were judging something you didn't even realize you were judging. You didn't even see that as a judgment. It was just kind of there because it's always been there in your reality. And now it's like smack in your face of, oh my God, I've been judging all this time. And so 2024 has been clearing that path, like chipping away and clearing that path for us to move into 2025 with a much more clearer slate and the understanding of who we are. Yeah, so that's really cool too. Linda says, reserving judgment is key. I like that. It does take all of us to create the inclusive reality. Yes, it does. And good morning, Emma. Yes, it does. There's just this whole new frequency and alignment, and self-worth is a big one. What do we deserve within ourselves? If they're showing me a story, if you were if all of a sudden a ship came down and said, I'm going to take you to your beautiful planet where everything feels peaceful within yourself, and you just, oh my God, and all this expansion and new reality, and it's just gorgeous and all that sort of stuff. If that started, sorry, I just got sidetracked then. If that actually happened, then when you stepped off, you wouldn't step off that ship and go, I don't really deserve, just give me something minimal. I don't really need all of, you know, that happiness. Like, this is what we do to ourselves as we go day to day. We've literally been really infiltrated and programmed, and not just by you. I'm talking a DNA thing that's, you know, past relations and everything. They've just been, especially if you're a female or you've been minority in a certain, you know, the color of your skin or whatever. You've been pulled into this position where it's like, you know, I'm all right if I'm surviving, and that sort of thing. We have to start chipping away at that, because if you really truly knew the value of who you were as a soul and being in this beautiful planet, being able to experience, then you should be able to experience whatever you want, whatever that looks like. You know, have the home that you desire, have the swimming pool if you want, you know, invite all of that juicy, beautiful stuff into your reality. Become the, you know, create the heaven or utopia on earth that you really desire through knowing your self-worth. That's another big thing that is going to change for those that especially are doing the work, are going to start to realize. Because remember, if you're shining your light really bright and all of a sudden you've manifested the perfect job, the perfect home, the perfect whatever it is that you really, really wanted, you're actually shining your light brighter for others to see that their story of them following the rule base that was kind of driving them into a lower frequency of, you know, I'm not worthy of anything, somebody has to help me because I'm just useless. They see that happening, that's going to awaken them. So you're actually awakening others by allowing yourself to have the desired outcome that you've really wanted. So self-worth is a huge thing. And self-support is coming from, you know, the realizing that these gifts are actually coming from your self-worth, and then also manifesting the right people into your reality as well. So it's going to be quite a shift that's happening with the dynamics of those that have done the work. We're going to see a lot more gifts coming in our way, coming our way as well. Yeah, but it has to be from the inner core out, because your true value of who you are, if you are thinking of a lower value and that you're not worthy of, then you those things that come towards you, those gifts that come towards you, will only be fleeting. They will come and they will go. And then you'll be left with that hole again within yourself of, why do I feel like I'm in lack of again? Why do I always, you know, why does it always slip out of my fingers? Well, look within yourself. Do you really generally feel like you are worthy of raising the lower bar of your level of self-support? In other words, you know, when you were before, you might have had a bar of survive, and then anything above that is awesome. And now we're lifting that lower bar to I believe I deserve a beautiful home. I believe I deserve to have the job that I wanted, that I am, you know, that I can create whatever I want. And so you've risen that bar into a higher frequency, and that's the bottom level. You don't go below that into survival game anymore. You start to believe that the lowest part of your self-support is in thriving. So thriving is where you're going all the time. Yeah, they're showing me as a level, and we're up in the game in this bar that we've been pulling into us. If you've ever had like friends around you or relatives around you and they are constantly poor, but then their level is down here, and then you know that your level is a little bit higher than theirs, where you're at least surrounded by, you know, a stable home or something like that. Well, now they're asking you to up level a little bit more, and through 2025, what can you up level the lowest part of your self-support? Up level that. I'm trying to relay this, give this information to you in a way that you can understand. But they're showing me these levels, upping the game, and you never return back. You never go back to survival mode again. It's just not in your energy field anymore. something to do with that as well is coming up for 2025, and those that are doing the work too. Even to the point where when we do up level ourselves and have more understanding of who we are, we're actually starting to reach those that are benevolent, and watching this game play out, we're starting to come into their level of, because they have a very high level of esteem of themselves and who they are, and they wouldn't allow themselves to lower into something that's too low. They say there's nothing wrong with dipping yourself in and helping somebody else out, but you always know how to get yourself out into that higher frequency, because your bottom level is always in a more self-supported manner. Yeah. Also, they're showing me, they're bringing me to when I was in a Tesla pod, this beautiful man, he's actually just passed. He created these Tesla pods, and when I was in there, so that it was just incredible what he had created. There's geometrical shapes, and there was these Tesla plates all through them. When I went into it, I could channel easier, and I wasn't a channeler then, but I started to get this information, and I'm like, where do I want to go? And I'm like, let's just choose a flower, like just something simple, because I wasn't used to channeling. And I ended up becoming a flower, and then I realized, oh my God, it's so cool. They have these little hairs on their stems, and then they showed me when a flower is not, it's kind of like when they're not feeling healthy, the first thing that goes is the chemical that they release to keep bugs away from eating them. And so when that is depleted because they're not feeling good, then they are food for the bug. And so the bug can come in and eat them because they're not producing that chemical that stops them or prevents them from coming to eat them. That's why you get in a flower bed some that really survive and some that are really eaten, right? They're saying that that's the same thing for humanity in the retrospect of our health. When we start to feel really fun, have a fun life and enjoy ourselves, and the hoping that through 2025 we start to activate this, then we produce more chemicals running through us that are going to keep us healthy. So we don't have the same health thing as what we did, especially recently, because that's just an overkill of manipulation that's been happening around the world. So that's going to be showing up as well, where the health has been taken over as a manipulation for those that were greedy as well. So that's going to be showing up through the energetic value of someone finding their own ability to keep themselves healthy through playfulness on this planet. That for some reason that reflection will start to be showing up for what it is and deplete, because they're bringing me back to like 1970s, 1980s, when we had maybe one tiny little chemist in a whole township, and that's dispersing medicines for the whole township. And now it's like a blimmin' warehouse at every corner, because there is that's involved. And so to have that, we need the manipulation of people and to keep them in a place where they're not happy. And so that's going to start to shift in 225. The realization that us making more fun games and having a much better reality in this world is going to shift us all up into seeing that for what it is. And so it starts to, I wouldn't put my shares in the health business just yet. I think I wouldn't do that, because things are going to start to change. It might be small drip feeding at the moment. We're just talking about 1 year here, but it is an actual incline as starting to realize people are healthier. They're not not being they're ignoring those programs of bling, 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 you are sick. And they're bringing me to a, when I was working with a Cherokee elder, when I worked with her, she did this whole seminar on what we call Nawati medicine. And Nawati medicine was going into another reality and pulling through this beautiful pearl-like ball, and it would like scan the person and see where they had ailments and that sort of thing. And the strangest thing happened I have all these really cool stories. Strangest thing happened just before I entered that room. I didn't know what she was going to even really talk about, to tell you the truth. I was there because it was the Cherokee elder, right? And so we were all gathering again. I didn't know what the topic was. But this bug flew in, and it was about yay big, like it was a good inch and a bit big, and like quite a big bug. Its whole wings, I've never seen anything like it, were very iridescent white, like pearly iridescent white. Never seen wings like that on a bug before. And then to go into this room and then to speak about Nawati and then talk about the iridescent pearly ball that we're going to bring in to heal ourselves. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I've never seen a bug like that after either. Like, it's the only time I've ever seen a bug like that. So it was really interesting, and it flew in. So they're bringing that up because she said, most of society, because she was brought up by her elder, right? She's like, most of society just advertises illnesses, where Nawati is all about focusing in on the organ being healthy, everything being healthy. So, yeah, I can't say too much because I might get pulled down, when we get into that sort of thing. I just realized. We'll see how this one floats. But in any case, it's more to do with focusing in on the healthy. So you don't want to be having pictures or images or blah, blah of unhealthy. We'll leave it at that. I just realized that they can actually pull me down for this one. Hopefully not. Let's put that out there, right? Let's change that story. That's so funny. Yeah, and you see it on cigarette packages. I really get annoyed with that. Or it says support this illness. I'm like, oh my God, why would you put support in an illness name right next to it? And I'm like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Like, it's supposed to be support healthy, support vitalness. And then our imagination moves into that, and then the actual thing that's got the problem starts to remember what its original program was, because you are focused with your imagination and all your energy on the original program. That thing has now got an ailment. Visualization is a big deal when it comes to health as well. So yeah. Because we are water, and they're bringing me to that doctor again who did the experiments on the water, and he's talking about, when we visualize something, or we speak something, or we put that into the water, when we freeze it, it actually shows up in the water as a frozen, as it actually holds the wisdom and the information. So if we're mainly water, bags of water, moving around, speaking to ourselves. So it's bringing me to What the Believe. So if you haven't seen that movie, go to What the Believe, because all of this is changing humanity in 2025. It's literally making big changes, but we're doing it from the inside out. We don't need to try to control them. We just need to start to fix our own energy fields, and then show other people how to fix their energy fields. And that is going to shift the story anyway, because it's just the way it goes. Everything is a mirror reflection of ourselves, our true selves. So when we start to find out how to fix ourselves, then we are fixing the story for everybody as well. So yeah. hypocrisy reigns supreme. People are getting fed up with corporations doing these types of things. They are. And it's good. It's all meant to be that way. It didn't matter what they did, whether they did nothing. If they did nothing, then humanity would have awoken anyway. And for them to do their normal story and keep pushing it over us is actually waking us up anyway. It doesn't matter what they do anymore. The energy is moving into a higher frequency. They either get on the bandwagon with us and move into these higher frequencies, which are way more fun anyway, a lot more peace within our minds as well, a lot more security on this planet, a lot more stableness, and a lot more dancing. If they get on that bandwagon, then yeah, absolutely. Like, nobody is shut out from this. It doesn't matter how dark, deep, or whatever. If you've learned a lesson, but you have to purge through all of the guilt that you have held on to through whatever you have done. You'll have to find your own path through that. And if I'm speaking to these light workers that have actually done all this work in 2024, right, how hard it is to purge this in your mind and go through everything that comes and slaps you around because you're not quite there yet. The work that these people will have to do. So it's already enough. And they'll have to make their own way out. So don't worry about them and try, it's not about punishment. It's about us uplifting our level of awareness and creating something better for ourselves and sharing that gift with everybody else. That's all it is, through no judgment of what anyone else. It's not about persecution. That is literally the old paradigm of trying to control again. So there's so much more coming up for 2025. It is going to be a nice year. There's still going to be some residual of 2024 as we go through, but there's a lot more nice things happening, a lot more fun tower moments. They're showing me the tower, but they're showing me us falling into, oh, yay, a tower moment that actually shifted my reality, but it shifted for the better, that sort of thing. We're finally starting to align with shifting into our reality for the better. We're starting to take that rein and direct it towards what we really want and how we want to proceed into the next stages of our life, which is going to keep carrying us through, because then we are becoming the creators. So this is humanity learning to take the reins of themselves. Yeah, coming up. Very fun. Thanks for sharing that, Celtic. Yeah, there's a documentary called The Cooperation on YouTube. You can see it for free. Very interesting. Yeah. So if you want to look in that, but please don't, whatever you watch, don't watch it. If you start getting a little bit anxiety, fear, stop, because you're actually fueling it. And then you can maybe clear that and then go watch it again because you're not in fear. So yeah, it's like whenever I post something, some things might seem seemingly negative to others, but from my energy field, there is no negativity. I don't feel anything. It's just, this would be a good one to wake people up with, to get them to start to look at what they are afraid of. Sometimes that can happen. It's not all roses and everything's perfect and all of that. We have these movements that we move through as well, and we start judging ourselves. That's what we've got to do, because it just ends up being a fun adventure, and whatever dip and dive we move through is more important. The adventure is more important than where we end up in the end, although where we end up, I really know where my home is, and my home is within myself, an absolute clear mind, because that is a higher vibration. Clarity, or always being able to come back to clarity of mind and come back to central point, come back to living in the moment, being present, all of that sort of thing. And then grounding as much fun as possible while I'm living here. Choosing to be happy is another big thing coming into 2025 as well. Make your choices based on what you want to do. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Like, see 2025 as an open slather of all sorts of fun things that can come your way. Which one do you want to choose? What do you want to feel? That sort of thing. Yeah. So I think I'll leave it there, guys. Really fun. I'll just read a couple of things from the chat bar. Kenya 54. Heard a story recently. 7 Japanese surgeons used energy healing on patient. I've got to be careful what I say there. Oh, okay. Well, read Kenyan 54. I won't read it out loud just in case they take me off for that. But there's Masaru Emoto. Yeah. I always forget everybody's names. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I like that, Black Diamond. Yes, yes, godlike structure that doesn't serve for our highest, greatest purpose will fall. Yes, because that's what the majority of us are seeking. Now we are actually asking for that to happen. We're starting to realize we can't keep supporting those that are a victim because it's just supporting being a victim. We can't keep trying to control or backlash on people that are doing the wrong thing because it just fuels them. It really does. It's just aligning yourself with the reality that you want and shining and showing others how to do this and how to do it without judgment on yourself and other people as well. And nobody is perfect, by the way. So it doesn't matter who you are. Like, move into this world knowing that you're going to make a few mistakes. What's a mistake anyway? Like, really? Like, I make lots of mistakes when I go live. And that's why I can go live, because I'm just like, oh, well, I'll just be me and make my mistakes and let it fall where it may fall, you know. But it's actually given me freedom to be able to speak because I'm not afraid to try to keep everything perfect. So just move into the 2025 going, it's okay to not be perfect and so cool, make mistakes, whatever, you know, what is a mistake? It's all good. It's all beautiful. If you come from your heart, it cannot be a mistake anyway. And everything that I say and do, whatever I express, has always come from my heart. So whether it be that I spell something wrong or I get a name wrong or I say the wrong thing here, but I don't say it here, you know, whatever, you know, I'm sure you can feel the energy coming off me, that it's actually coming from my heart and that there is a purpose in what I'm saying. And at least the juicy things, the good, the pearls, the really good channelings come out as well. So like, let the mistakes happen. It's okay. Don't judge yourself and don't be too hard on yourself either. Yay, Linda. Love your message today. I found those pushing me the hardest have been teaching me what I need to heal to overcome. I'm not the victim. It's so cool when you can see it. It's so cool because it just frees you up to realizing that you were holding on to a certain program, and it could have been all your life, honestly. So you didn't even know that it was a program because it's literally infiltrated your DNA. But then you realize, oh my God, it's actually keeping me on as a limit and keeping me in fear and keeping me in guilt and keeping me on it. And when you realize that, it's like, this isn't serving me at all. So then you can release it. And then those people will start to move away in your life as well. So thank you, everybody, for being part of this. Again, another beautiful channeling, and share it far and wide or whatever you want to do with it. Until next time, well, actually, I'm going to actually publish a quick video just on myself because I want to get out there more, and I'm just going to use it for kind of like an advertising thing of this is who I am. So it's got some really fun stories in it and a little bit about me and Pleiades and what I want to do on stage. So if you want to watch that and what I want to do on stage is a collaboration with the audience and everything. I'm going to be putting that up maybe today or tomorrow and just fine tuning it at the moment, and then we can use it to show others, you know, to higher halls or whatever. I don't know, get involved with other people and go on stage. Anyway, whatever that is. So yeah, that's coming up as well. And go watch the mathematician one with me and the mathematician. It was really curious what came out. And there was this whole maths that came out. If you look on the actual, you know, I wrote it down in the comment, not in the comments, but the you know, what it's all about. I wrote this whole math equation down to do with just using numbers as a whole. And it was really interesting. I got a message from the mathematician this morning about it. And I was seeing that it was creating this torus energy to do with the whole numbers. Anyway, you have to go have a look at that. It was really intriguing. So that could be some sort of clue there to this equation that he's trying to find. Anyway, he will figure that out himself in the end. I think that's just part of his deal and his missions. Anyway, love you guys heaps. Until next time. Bye.